Okay, so we've got 2 pages left. And I've got 3 sheets of paper, so awesome. Now, that means I've got a choice. So we've got old person, and for that I've got these 2, and then I've got ticket, and then I've got an extra page which I've printed out and I've fussy cut out, and I might do this on that extra page that I didn't do anything on. So I'll have a look at that once I've done these others. Okay, so the question is, which goes better with which page? Now I actually think they go better with that. So I think I'll put the tickets on that page, so let's do that first. Whoops. So now these were from Victoria Designs. They're part of, I bought it as part of the Steampunk Mega Bundle kit, but it is VDTIST1415 Steampunk tickets. And this isn't all of them. I only printed out 1 page. And I think there was 2 or 3 pages. I can't remember. So now I've got those. And I also have some some vintage tickets. And I've got like Tim Holtz tickets. So I'm not sure if I want to like use some of them, but it would be cool to use some of these. So I might put those away for now. And then I also have some modern tickets. And these I just picked up at like the $2 shop. And I was just thinking maybe for the colour. Right, so what have we got? Let's just, and then maybe I leave these for something else, or I can put them, because I like the idea of, so hang on, let's remember priorities first, and that is we need to trim this page. Okay, now what I was thinking was about just layering some tickets. So let's just, yeah. Right there. So I've got half and half. Now, these ones all need to be aged up a little bit. Okay, these tickets have now dried, so I am going to add a bit more colour and distressing to them. Starting off with some vintage photo. So I've got the antique linen splattered with water. We'll try add some vintage photo, and I'm just using the distress ink here. I'm going to start off kind of going just on the edges, but very rough on the edges, and like wanting to get into any of the holes as well. Making sure we're also getting this side of the tag, of tickets rather, not tags, so that you can't see any of that white core, including like in here. So we'll do the fold bit as well while we're at it. You want to be pretty intense with all this inking to make sure you are really getting in to the edges. Show them from the front, because they're going to be adhered in place. Okay, so I've finished doing the vintage photo on there. Now I'm thinking I want to wet them all and just see what happens, and if we can get the ink to disperse a bit more. So I mean, I'm liking what's happening with these two, that one as well, but the pinky salmony ones just don't seem to be doing much. So let's see what they're like when they're dry, and it's probably going to be that they need a darker ink. I mean, I was going to do that anyway, but okay, alright. What was really cool was there's a little bit of sellotape on there, and the heat caused the sellotape to roll up, and it's now kind of melted in place. But I love what that gap it kind of looks like on there. I think it looks really cool. Adds to the character. Okay, right, now we're going to add some walnut stain. Do we want to go with, let's go with the distress ink. Again, right on the edges. Oops, that one's come off, that's okay. So doing exactly the same as what I did before, only trying to make it a little bit finer, so more on the edge. Right, that looks better. Now, the last thing we're going to do is some black soot. And this is just going to be in random patches, not over the entire ticket. Cool, I'm happy with that. Okay, so now I'm just going to set the ink, and then we will be adhering these onto the background. Okay, so we've got our coloured tickets, and then we've got some vintage tickets. So I'm going to add some of everything onto our background. And we're doing the inside of this page here And it's just gonna, I don't want to get them like right over here so that I don't need to worry about them folding, but it's going to be on either side of that page. And then just on the front, I think we might use as a tab. If we do that as a tab, a ticket. So if we glue one and there, and then glue that there. That's one tab, and then we will do this one underneath. Right. Good thing I checked. Of course, that's one with the bit of glue on it. So we want to, not glue, yeah, sellotape. Or sellotape glue, I should say. And then there. Cool. Right, happy with that. So, and that's I mean, simple-ish background. So, and didn't use that many of my supply. Still got one or two left, and I now have the big tickets left. So what are we going to do with those? Right, I know what I'm going to do. So 1, 2, 3, 4. I need a ruler. We're going to tear that off. Now I don't have a cute tiny attacher, but I do have a adorable green one, green stapler. So I'm just going to make sure I've got both sides and staple that on. And then we're going to turn that into a pocket. Alright. Hopefully they will fit in there. Yep. They'll fit in there so long as I don't, you know, glue along the edge. Come here, pin. There. So I know that that is where my pocket is, and now I can put these in there. Well, actually, I might put them in that way up. Don't want to stick them too down too low until I know that the glue is dry. And then I could always use these to create additional pockets. So maybe I wanted to have a line of pockets, and I mean these potentially 4 more pockets there. Alright, cool. I love that. Here we go. So that is our tickets. So the only one we've got left, well, we've got 2 left now if I do the extra page. Right, now, while we're here, I've done the sewing, I sewed on my tea bags. So they are now all sewn on. And whoops, I didn't do the extra bit around that one. Never mind. But that's kind of what it looks like on the inside. I've left all the machine threads and the tag threads hanging out because it looks cool. So that can go into that signature as well. So I'm going to have to split those apart. So now we've got, and this is an old person. Now I haven't taken this as being someone old in years. I've taken it as being someone from some time ago. So yeah, because these are both young ladies. They're not old people as such. And what I wanted to do was just have like almost like just a straight picture. No, it's probably going to be on like the inside because I don't want to cover either one of these sheets. So I might use this one, I think. What's the insides like? Yeah, I think I will use this one. So now, first thing I need to do is trim it and fold this in half so that I know what space I've got. And, you know, what my width is that I've got to use. So now, these are my 2 photos. And like that one is perfect just as it is. I think I will just put that on. The question is whether I want to do some kind of a frame. And yes, I probably will. The next thing is I need to narrow this down. And so I think if I just trim it like either side of her head, and that now looks quite nice. Still looks quite nice, I should say. And they are pretty much the same height. Well, they are the same height. So the question now is, who are we putting where? Now, that's where I'm first drawn to putting them. That one doesn't look as good. I like that. Now if we do like an even border around on all sides. But the thing is, do I want something underneath? If so, what do I want? And so we'd see that little bit up there and a little bit down there. And then of course in between and around the side. So we've got either this one or this one. Both in serious need of a clean because of the coffee. But, you know, to be honest, I think I'm leaning towards this one, which is because that's where I saw it going, is like a doily, so decision made. So now right for this, I am going to tape the corners of the page down. Now I might actually as well, because I know that my craft sheets are split in, there's like 2 sheets there to cover my surface, so that means that I've got a seam in the middle. Although if I, so there and there, if I bring it over to there, I should be fine. No, okay, I thought I was going to have to bring up my entire craft mat, but I don't. So now, the least stickiest washi tape I've got, hopefully it will at least keep the, and like the corners, I know I'm not going to be putting ink on the corners, that's why I'm quite happy to put all this tape on there. We should be safe and secure. So now we're going to line this up. So we're at there and there. So now I can just see the crease through the middle, and so long as I put my points on that crease, then we should be good. So now it's a question of getting the height about the same. I'm probably going to do maybe, oops, make sure that hasn't moved. These are our 2 photos. So these are the 2, and these are antique linen. So we can go that way, or we can go tea dye. Now, I think tea dye would look okay with this one, but I think antique linen would look better with that one. So maybe we do a mix of the 2 of them. Antique linen and tea dye, why not? So I want the antique linen to be mainly on this side and the tea dye mainly on this one, but we're going to have a blend. Okay, so now if we, lift up the corner, I'm happy with that. Our brush is out of the way, so now it is time to lift off this. There. Yep, I think that looks lovely. Now the question is, do I want to wet it? Yep, you know I'm going to do it. Here goes. Alright. Let's dry and see what we've got. Okay, so because I'm about to put photos or photo paper down directly onto this, I just want to make sure it is 100% dry. Right, that looks lovely. Okay, so now I forgot about my cheesecloth. So where have we got? We've got the lighter one, we can maybe put some underneath this one, because I think that might be too pale. And then if we put some of the darker one over here, so we've got darker and lighter. I think we'd just like break it up a wee bit. So now because I'm going to pull it apart, I only need to cut enough to really go right underneath the photo. So we've got there. There. And that one. And again, I dyed this, or both of them, in with my coffee dyeing, and then just hung them on the line to dry while I carried on dyeing my papers. And this one I threw like I sprayed some of my walnut stain and ground espresso water mixes, homemade DIY mists on the fabric as well. These scissors are great paper scissors, but no good on fabric. Probably need to just sharpen them really. Okay, so fabric done. Well, cheesecloth done. I've almost forgotten about that. So I know I said I was going to do one then the other, but looks like I'm doing both at once. Now, the only trouble with this one is I've got like a non-fraying side seam on there. Have I got some better scissors? Let's try these ones. I don't know, they're probably not going to be any better. Let's get some real scissors in here. So I'm just trying to trim off the narrowest of edges to remove the selvage. So I can then fray it. Where were we? So we are pulling apart some of this. There we go. So we're going to put that down there. It doesn't need to be exact, it doesn't need to be even. And then we're going to put our photo on top. Now I might bring this back, and I'm going to cheat. I may have cut it a wee bit too short, so right in the middle we are going to fake some length. So that side is still going to be joined, but now all of a sudden, and if we, now that should be enough, So we're going to bring it more out that side, and there, that's kind of what we want. Alright, so happy with that. Oh, hang on, I need to bring it up a wee bit, so bring the photo up anyway. We want that, and that can fray out the top. Right, happy with that. So I want to, so I'm going to leave that bottom bit there. So let's like hold that in place. Now, I don't have any fabric glue, but I do have this craft glue, which is for fabrics as well. So the only problem is I need help to remove the lid. So, and this is an acetone based glue. And whoops, which I should, so it's not going to warp the paper once it decides to come out. Okay, take 2 on trying to glue this. I have added some acetone to this, so hopefully that has thinned this out a little bit. I think it's also turned it pink. I think it is because it is so cold in here, it is just thickened up a little bit. So now to see if it's actually, and it doesn't help that the cap has actually got a crack in it. So I need to get another baby bottle of, so that I can, okay, yes, we have glue. Right, that's a good start. So put this up there, and I want some of it hanging up the top. Yeah, I know I'm probably going to get glue through my fingers, or on my fingers through the fabric. That's okay. So I'm happy, I think that looks okay. And then we just want a little patch in there. So glue off the fingers again. My one bugbear, I don't, yeah, not a happy camper with glue on my fingers. I think I might have to leave this glue on the side, but then I don't want it leaking everywhere. Come on, baby. That's the thing. I know you got glue in there. There. Okay, so, okay, now I've got a second crack starting, so I definitely need to be careful and get a replacement. Right, there we go, that's that one. I will, and there we go. Okay, we're flowing. Oops, a wee bit more on the side. And then if we gently put you on the side like that, hopefully I've got enough on the bottom. And now we want you to be even there and there. Alright. Oops. Alright, happy with that. Just need to make sure that these 2 bottom corners, but I might put some lace over the top of that. Okay, so now we're going to do something similar with this piece. And so every time I look at this beautiful young lady, She just looks so forlorn. We're going to look at this lace. We've got that one, or we've got that one. I think maybe you can do with that and you can do with that. We want about, I'm going to have a little wee tab sticking out. And I'm probably going to make it the fuzzy side. And then this one is going to be about to there. It's much easier to cut. Floral butterflies. I could fussy cut something out. I've got some fussy cut bits. First, before I look at those, from the freebies from Debbie at Ink and Page. That looks quite nice. And then what about that? But I didn't put anything on the back, so no, we're going to go with that and that. Sweet but nice. Thank you to Debbie for the freebies, because see, I am using them. Maybe not as you intended, but you know. Alright, I like that, just on that slight angle. Right. And now we're going to put that on there. So I think I just want to, I don't think I'm going to glue up the top or the bottom, and hopefully that will be enough. So butterfly, butterfly, and the key where there is the butterfly. Nice. And then this one we're going to have, I think we'll do, so I'll do the entire key. Just going, I want it on a slight angle. And then the flower on top. So I want, only going to glue sort of under, from under that to over that. So if I go like there, and I'm gluing underneath my finger. There's no point putting glue where it's not going to stick to anything. Right, on the top. There. And we just had a little bit of overspill there. Alright. So that's that page done. So I'll put that aside to dry. I just need to come back to one page here. We've got this page here, and I was just going to use these somehow because I just love them so much. Vintage, yeah, maybe vintage photo. So now this is a spare page that I because the prompt list was only 23 items. Hang on, finished old person. So the prompt list is 23 items, but I wanted to have an even number of pages in the journal. So I printed out an extra page. Wrong one. So that I would have 8 pages for each signature. And so this is my extra page, and all I've done is folded up the bottom. So I thought, why not include these in it somehow? And even if I just put them in the pockets, because I love the background so much. So all I'm doing is just going around the edges with some vintage photo of the distress ink. For a change, I backed these. Just because there was a page in the kit that was absolutely gorgeous, and I probably just wanted to see what it looked like. And then I didn't actually want to cut it up, but I did. I might put like one of each in, or a couple of each in there. So what have we got? Right, one with glasses, one with glasses. So, and then a book page, and so then maybe I'll put like a one up the top of each, so that I've always got a reminder of these. So let's just do that, and then when I'm sewing the journals together, I will, if I do these as a tuck spot, so I want that and that, yep. Yeah, alright, lovely. So that is all my pages finished. So I will leave these, and more particularly this one, to dry for an hour or so while I go and cook my dinner. So thank you for joining me here for the last couple of pages for my Junk Journal July 2025 journal. Next step is sewing everything together. So I will show that in a new video. So I will see you back in the studio, but bye for now.